Hello and welcome to this very special interview. Joining me today is Sadguru, Jaggi Vasudev. Thanks very much, Sadguru. Like always, it's a pleasure talking to you. This conversation starts, of course, with this initiative, Insight, that you're organizing, which is more specific towards entrepreneurs. And I know it's an interesting time in which we're doing this, and I'll come to that in a bit. But if you could first tell our viewers, what is the idea behind Insight?
So what I have observed with many levels of business in India is, probably for most people when they say business, they're talking about the mega corporations that have grown, both Indian and otherwise. But India hums beyond world's economic situations. India's commerce hums because there's a whole lot of family businesses, individual entrepreneurs, family enterprises, which have a very strong business sense. They have the necessary commitment to what they're doing, they have the fire to run the business, they have the know-how, but they're not able to move from being a proprietary to a larger possibility. This scaling up is something that a lot of them struggle with. I have many personal experiences with this. I've been watching this for a few years now, and I thought in some way if you could contribute to really help these businesses to scale up, because they have everything in place, they have the fundamentals really good.
What holds them back, Sadhguru?
It's essentially… one thing is, I think in India, Indian businesses have seriously not understood what's branding, seriously. There's a serious lack of knowledge about what is branding. And also, in India, one of the biggest problems is a friendly finance. It's very cruel finance. You want to do business and you want to pay 15 to 18% interest and do business is… I don't think in Europe and America anybody will even venture to do business if you talk about that kind of interest. People are paying that kind of interest and still being successful. So, access to more friendly finance and understanding larger market systems in the world. They know how to operate in the local terrain. For some of them, language is the issue. When I say language, not just the language as English or Hindi, the language of business, how it operates elsewhere. Unless somebody reaches out to them, they don't know how to reach out by themselves. So essentially, branding, finance and marketing capabilities are the main things. And to be able to move from the control that a proprietary has to a larger way of operating where you don't have so much control and you have to trust a different type of people and different type of forces and systems. From moving from a personalized way of doing business to a system-oriented operation. A system always lacks what a person has, but to be able to make that sacrifice…
In what way? Could you qualify that?
When a person handles something, he can handle something with a certain sensitivity, which matters for people who work with you and who go along with you. So these businesses are largely run with personal loyalties that they have built over a period of time, very strong relationships around them. To drop that, not necessarily drop that, but to transcend that and to go to an area where to have people around you who don't have any personal loyalty to you, but still there is a different kind of commitment to work and the process of working is a different mindset altogether. So to move into that, we have to build bridges where they can comfortably go across, because if they're not comfortable, risking everything that they have built is something that they cannot do, so they'll always step back. So I am looking at businesses who are somewhere between… there's a whole range of businesses between, let's say, 250 crores to 750 crores. They cannot go beyond that. This is a range where a lot of them are there.
Is one of the reasons for that, Sadhguru, the inability to let go? I know it's a very human
See, you
attitude, but many
see,
of them which you talk of, my experiences, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my experiences, many of them reach up to a point, as you rightly mentioned, and somehow after that, because they are unable to want to let go of control, allow public shareholders to come in, allow that transparency, that scrutiny, that they just stop there.
see, suppose you're playing on a trapeze bar. Unless you're sure you can catch the other bar, you won't leave this, isn't it? You're not going to let go of this. It's unfair to ask him to let go of this when he's not sure whether he can catch the other one or not. Of course, there's a risk, those few moments of leaping, but still it's a calculated risk. But when you're still not able to see where the other bar is, there's no question of letting go. So, insight is an effort to help people to have the necessary insight to see where the other floating bar is. And it's not really so much of a risk as they think, as many of them may perceive. It is a certain calculated risk, and even operating within the limitations, having a stagnant business is also a great risk. Everything works well only when it's succeeding and growing. People… you can keep people together, you can keep everybody focused. When something is growing and getting bigger, if it stagnates, there'll be all kinds of problems that everybody faces at some point or the other. So, to move on to the next step, without the necessary tools and the know-how, asking them to move on is not a fair thing. So it's best we provide those tools, so we thought we'll bring the best minds in the field who have done that scaling up as a hands-on knowledge towards scaling up.